Folks, one of the hottest stories of the year has been my next guest's team. That is the Edmonton Elks. That is Mr. Andrew Hoskins. You may also know him as Mr. Freep. But tonight we're here to have some fun, do a little bit of that,
Yeah.
and watch some football in the background as the Calgary Stampeders are currently taking on the BC Lions. But I want to dive right into it with you. How has it been this year with the Elks? I know it's been a couple rough weeks, but like it just seems like the ugly corner is past and gone.
Yeah, I will say, well, first, let me say thank you for having me on again. I always love coming on to chat with you. Um, I'm going to say that after the 5-6 years of darkness that we have had, it's really nice to talk about more wins than losses. And you're right, the last couple of weeks, well, especially last week, we got bent over the knee a little bit last week, but I do think that it's the games other than that one have been really close. And at the beginning of the season, if you told me, well, your Edmonton Elks are going to be 6-3 at the halfway mark of the season, I'd have been like sold, like absolutely, like let me have that. Um, so yeah, it feels really nice to be able to have that kind of positivity surrounding the team. Um, they have a long way to go. They know that. They know that it's the same thing that everybody preaches. Got to go 1-0 this week. All those types of things. And we're at the halfway mark, but that still means that there's half a season where guys have to play and not get hurt and all these other things. But it sure is nice to know that it's more of a likelihood that they'll get 500. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And to me, for a team that hasn't put a lot more than 4 wins on the board in a very long time, that was my kind of goal, and if they can beat that, even better.
We honestly look, because we all know there still is one team, and I kind of like put them a lot of feet under in the ground on Tuesday. That's just been the new laughing stock. But from what I've seen and what I've gathered, and just being on the Turf District podcast on Tuesday, if you haven't checked it out so far, link in bio.
Ooh.
It's just that like you said, it's that like I don't even want to say euphoria, but it's just that like overzealous joy of like, hey, the past's the past, the present is the present. Six and like you said, hey, maybe been a couple rough weeks, but that's just football. It's the nature of the beast.
$100%.
Every team except for Ottawa is going to go through a couple tough weeks, but it's an easy punching line. Okay,
It is a pun. Yeah, I get it. And you're not wrong.
no, it's like you guys are like that too at the season, but even like look at a team like the BC Lions who are playing right now. I know they're down 3-0, but first few games of the year, and our boys on the 3 9 Nation podcast said this, that their defense was basically putrid through the first few weeks of the season. Now their defense is borderline playing very excellent. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's all football is about, is just, hey, you're going to have some good weeks. You're going to have some bad weeks. It's just you have to learn. I feel like the marks of a great football team is the ones who know how to make the good from the bad, because bad losses can come by a lot quicker and a lot uglier than good wins can. Because I always say this, it's not always sometimes about how you win, it's about just finding a way to win. And like a perfect example for that is, like I mentioned the other day to you, the fact that the Toronto Argonauts, with a 4 interception game from Chad Kelly, still
Hmm.
found a way to win that football game, because they don't
Yes.
ask you how, they ask you how many. And the Elks right now are at 6.
Well, they're at 6 how many's, so I like that. And the other cool thing about that, and you just said that, it's the teams that find a way. And
Yeah.
I was in Saskatchewan for that first game of the back-to-back,
Elks plus
and
4.5, baby. Elks plus four
oh,
and a half.
let me tell you, that game
I
was,
picked them to win that game, by the way, in our picks. In our picks.
so did I. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna happen. And it was, but what a game to watch. If you're a CFL fan, it was amazing to watch that game. But again, they almost tried to give it away at the end, but then they found a way. And I was down near the locker room as the guys were all coming off, and Coach Killam was at the door greeting each guy, saying, found a way. We found a way. That's what this team does. We find a way. And everybody, it's just the mantra, right? And to me, that it's been a long time since we've been able to say that and actually mean it. I love what Coach Killer's doing with this team. I love the belief that's in the locker room, and even when they have the stumbling blocks, they can turn around and go, you know what? But there was some good in there, and we just need to focus on doing more of the good, and we'll be fine. We can coach that out of it and find our way into another couple of wins. So I in past years, if they had 2 weeks like this, I'd be like, well, that's it. The season's over. It's nice. We get to do the rest of the year on the podcast complaining about the team, but I didn't feel that way. I felt like there's some rough bumps, but I think they'll find a way to come out of it.
It's kind of like learning to work through it and learning to work on how, hey, we know we screwed up here. We know we can get better from this. The Elks, I still believe, are one of only a few teams not to have had their second bye week of the season yet. I believe that's either next week or in 2 weeks.
It is in 2 weeks. Yeah, next week they're playing Winnipeg at home, and then they have a bye. Then their second bye week comes. Yeah.
So it's Toronto, Winnipeg, bye week, and then Stamps.
Correct. Yeah, and then it Stamps home and home. Yeah, and the way the Stampeders are playing right now, those 2 games are going to be massive. Just massive. And both teams are gonna, there's always that will to win it even more, but it's the only 2 times they face each other this year. So and it's gonna be the only 2 times because Edmonton will keep going. That'll be but even still, it's a big deal. So I think that it's an exciting month ahead. Obviously this Toronto game, I know on our show you were saying, it's a show me game for Toronto. It's also can Edmonton get back on the horse and winning at home, and that's important. That's a big deal.
Also, I'm looking at the schedule quickly just to highlight some things. Man, week 21, Saturday, October 24th at 3:00.
Right? Ooh. That is right at this particular moment. That is a big circle it on there. There will be no players resting that game. I don't feel at this moment. It's going to be enormous.
And they'll also be handing out wellness checks if you're watching the Ticats and the Red Blacks.
Handing out wellness checks. That's nice. Yeah,
you're gonna get a knock on your door. Are you okay?
Are you
good?
Are you all right?
Yeah, you're a safe place right now. You feel safe.
Everyone, they're just standing at the gate as they come in. Are you sure this is okay? Are you all right? Yeah.
Are you lost? Do you mean to be here?
Nice.
But
wow.
The other term I want to use for this game for Edmonton, I have a term for Edmonton and I have a term for both. For Edmonton, this is the perfect get right opportunity for them.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But for both, I think this is a massive are we sure they're good game. And what I mean is because for Toronto, they lose this game, it's going to be, hey, you're good, but you're not that Grey Cup shortlist contender. I feel like because right now they're kind of in that, like, they're not really a dark horse, but they're not a true contender. And then for Edmonton, it's if they win, it's, hey, the new Elks are here, but then I'm not saying they're going to the Elksing term comes to light if they lose this game, but it's one of those things now where it's kind of like the next 3 games for them become extremely important, considering now BC's kind of there, Calgary, Winnipeg, the fact that a crossover, I would assume at this point probably will take place. You don't know. It's just, I just can't bank on the Ticats staying that relevant right now. I know they kind of they're kind of in a gap here. I feel like it's one of those just like, hey, you got to look good, and then next year we'll see what happens. But in the terms of the Elks, I will say this: I think both teams need this, but I do think the Elks need it slightly more than the Argonauts, and by that I mean because if the Elks loses, it's 6-4, and those same conversations pop up from more of the national media of where the Elks go from here. Are we really sure they're good? Did they get fat and happy? Something a certain Stamps person said last week on the show.
Of course.
To then,
jeez, I wonder who that was. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. His name rhymes with a holiday in February. But for Toronto, because if Toronto wins, it's kind of, hey, look at these Argonauts. But if they lose, it's kind of like, you know what? It's the Argonauts. So it's kind of that like mixed bag of emotions from both sides, I feel.
I think that's true, but I do think they can both come out of it looking better in the fact that if it is a back and forth game that Edmonton pulls out the win and it's a close win, it shows that Toronto is on the right foot to get, to be playing well, and it shows that Edmonton is still in the running and making sure that they're defending their turf at home, to use an old what was the tagline that what they used to have with the team was defend the turf, and they need to. Where that came from, by the way, the defend the turf was after they won the Grey Cup, and then we were the only stadium that still had natural grass at the time. So defend the turf totally made sense. But now they just need to defend home field advantage for sure.
I'm just going to update you on what's going on in this game right now, but an ugly.
Oh, I've got it on.
Yep,
I've got it on.
I was an ugly fumble by the BC Lions there. I didn't catch.
It sure was. Yep.
Yeah. Also say this too. I don't know if it's the rain or the dark weather, but this is the first game where like these jerseys look visible to the naked eye on television.
At least see the numbers. I agree. Yeah. It's probably because it's a little gray in Calgary. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's raining.
That was an awful fumble.
How do you?
It was just out of nowhere.
Forced. It's just like no. It's like it's like I just have a baseball here, so I'll just use this as an example. It's me just go like look.
Yeah, look what I have. Oh, it's out of my hands. Weird. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. The wind got it.
Yeah. The wind got it. But no, it does look like it's rainy and just not a good day to be at McMahon. Maybe Marshall Ferguson's on the call. Who knows?
Maybe our good friend was like, using his magical wind powers from the stands to just blow it out of his hands. You never know. Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna message him after that saying, "Did you blow the wind in that direction to get the ball to fumble?"
Did you use your hot air to blow that out of his? That's awful. I shouldn't. He's my friend. Okay,
he's our friend. Even though I've never met you guys in person, you guys are all friends. But no. Obviously, like, look, the East Division is kind of because the East Division, it's very 2023, where I feel like you have the runaway favorites in the Alouettes, and now the Argonauts are kind of that. I don't want to say Montreal Alouette identity just yet because we haven't seen like I feel like the coaching style of Mike Miller compared to Jason Moss, it's not comparable because Jason Moss has that very rah-rah mentality. Mike Miller's more just like that perfect boss of like you can go for a beer with him, but when it's time to buckle down and get to work, he demands you get to work. There's that like even balance there between he'll be your friend, but then also too he'll remind you, hey, I'm the coach of this is my team.
Right. Yes.
And then with the East, obviously, Ottawa's in the very bottom, and then Hamilton's. I think they're just kind of riding the wave, and whatever happens. But looking at the West now, it's even no matter what happens here tonight with the hot air blowing wind fumbles in Calgary, but you kind of have a case that all 5 of these teams have a good chance to get in. Like Sask is kind of like they look good, but they haven't looked perfect. You guys are the bells of the ball where it's just, you know what, hey, the Elks are finally coming out of it. And then you have the Lions, the Bombers, and the Stamps, who I feel like are in that same era of Toronto to where they can beat anyone, but they can also get beaten by anyone. And they can also, keyword, beat themselves on a lot of opportunities. Because, like, for example, I know I make fun of the Red Blacks, but the Blue Bombers should have lost that football game. The Red, and I hate using the term in football where someone says they didn't win, this team lost. That was a game.
Yes.
That was a game truly where the Red Blacks, they lost that game more than
100%.
The Blue Bombers won. So because of that, I feel like no matter what happens when we get to the playoffs, I feel like you're going to get 4 great games that lead up to eventually when McMahon Stadium hosts in about 3 months' time. Which is weird to think about.
3 months' time? August, September, October. Yes. Holy, it is. It's like
one thing I love and hate about NFL and CFL is that we wait for the seasons to come by. You snap your fingers and it's gone.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, trust me, the last few years has not felt like that for an Elks fan. This year, yeah, it is. It's going pretty quick. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how that works. You know what? And like you said, it is the low-hanging fruit. It's easy to mock on the Red Blacks. I feel sorry for their fans though, because I mean, we've been there, where the team it's just not coming together. But I will say this week, I don't know. I think Winnipeg is beatable. So I went out on the limb this week and said Ottawa's going to take it, but I don't know. I feel like Dinwiddie, and you would know better than I, just because you've had a little more, I
Yeah.
don't want to say interaction, but you know what I mean? Like, you've had more experience with Dinwiddie, but he just keeps, changing up the puzzle until the pieces fit. And we know that he can be successful. So I'm curious on how this will, if some of these, like, he's let go a couple of veterans, are we going to have young guys that are going to come in and actually, ball out because they're getting that opportunity, and people don't kind of know what they're capable of. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to go winless. It's another tough season as a Ottawa fan.
So the way I like to look at Ryan Dinwiddie is this kind of, I said Mike Miller's kind of that, like, he'll be your friend, but then he's also remind you he's a boss.
Mm-hmm.
Dinwiddie can be the same, but it's more when it's good, he's a joy to be around. But when it's
Yeah.
not going well, it's just, I don't even want to use the word miserable, but it's just not. I also feel like on a TSN note, I feel like Britt Dort's just traveling all over Canada. I feel like she's been everywhere this year. It's like she's in Regina, she's in Calgary, she's obviously at Edmonton. You guys have Matt, so he's usually the one doing the sideline. Or it's not Matt, Tom.
Tom, yeah.
Tom. I
Gazzola.
don't know
Yeah.
why I said Matt. I don't know why I said Matt. Oh, you know why I said Matt? Because I had a college, just someone I went to college with who has the same last name. So that's why I said Matt.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why the name Matt popped into my head.
No, it's Tommy. Yeah, Tommy.
But no, I just feel like Britt Dort's been, with the absence of Matthew Shandy, who obviously returned last week. Britt Dort's been here, there, and everywhere in the CFL. So good for her.
Yeah. I love it when she comes here. She's really fun after the game. She's a good person to chat to. Yeah.
Man, you guys are really making it like very, like, I always thought, like, because I do want to try to see a new CFL city next year, and like I was thinking like an Ottawa or Montreal. Now I'm just like, if the timing's right, do I go to Edmonton? I'm like,
yeah, I think you should. It's a blast. We have a great time.
Oh yeah, we will get into that great time in a bit. But just going back to the West, though, like I said, it's really a beautiful thing, but it's like it's like chaotic in a very beautiful way to like how all the teams look, because I even feel like Sask, for example, the defending Grey Cup champs, they're the team, like we've seen, they can be good, but they can also be beaten. Like the game that you guys played against them a couple weeks ago, it just kind of came down to a couple key plays here and there. But yeah, and then it's an overall really mismatch of everything. Yeah, it really just does not look fun in Calgary right now. I am sorry. I'm just like looking at these guys. I'm like,
you're suffering.
Yeah, it's like Pierce is wearing a gray jacket, but you can see like dark gray and light gray. I'm like, those aren't dark spots; those are water spots.
Very true. Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
I think the West, and the West has been for a while, where you just kind of don't know, right? You just don't know what you're going to get. And I think a lot of us, myself included, I mean, I had Saskatchewan finishing first. I had BC in second. I had Edmonton in third, and I had Calgary in fourth. And I think that, but that's the thing. As soon as you got past kind of Saskatchewan in first, it was like, okay, Siri, tell me who's next. Like, that's pretty much all. I mean, it was like, it was really just kind of a crapshoot. And then of course BC struggled so hard to start. But I think, now they can start putting some pieces together, and you never know, they go on a run, right? So, and God forbid Edmonton has to play them, because BC is like their kryptonite. I don't understand why that is, but it's just one of those things. So, but I do agree with you that it's just like we don't, it's drama every week, because you actually don't know where anybody's going to end up.
So I'm just pulling up the schedule right now for you guys, because I was curious. So obviously, like we said, it's Toronto. Actually, it's a very fun schedule, because it's literally, you play 3 teams in the next 5 games. You have Winnipeg once, Calgary twice, Toronto twice.
Yes.
And then, surprisingly, Hamilton twice.
Yes.
and then Winnipeg again. So
And
you
then
basically play four teams over the course of 2 months.
yeah. Yeah. And then Saskatchewan to finish it out. Yeah.
Yes. And if I were to look at your schedule, I would not think this is a schedule of a team that plays in the West, because there's 3 o'clock, six, like this is Eastern times, 3, 6,
Yes.
7, 3, 7, 7, 3, with like two 9 o'clock games in there. That's the way how you can tell, like, hey, this is a team there. Like, because even for example, like when you guys host the Ticats, that's a 5 o'clock local kick. Um, this week's a 1 o'clock kick. The Calgary rematch is a 5 o'clock kick, and then yeah, even the game at Regina, that's a 1 o'clock kick for you guys. So that's another, instead of having to go to the stadium to have breakfast, you can have breakfast from home and just wear your Elks PJs and watch the game and then do nothing all day.
That's right. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Andrew's
Do
Apple Watch
nothing.
is registering like
I just
2 steps.
That's right. Yeah, you mean watch the game and write my post game analysis, right? That's what you mean. Of course.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Of course. Yes. Yes. You need to get those out right away.
Yes.
But I think that's the thing, is that if you're there's, I don't mind it being a bit earlier. It's kind of nice for, I think the Elks were kind of hoping to have that just so that they could kind of attract more families to things. And this week is family day, this game, right? It should bring more people out, and having the early part of it is nice. Still get your Saturday evening in the middle of the summer. Not so bad.
That's kind of like so the Argonaut schedule in a way is very similar to where they had a bunch of Fridays right out of the gate, and now they don't have another Friday game. They basically play either from now until the end of September. They either play on Saturday, Labor Day, and then there's one Friday against Winnipeg at the end of September. So their schedule's
Okay.
a little more balanced out. But like, even on that note with the families, like Toronto's game last week, there was it was an okay crowd, like 16. It was like, I think 16-160. It was like 16-16-0.
Okay.
But we were always saying, why have them return on a Thursday night? I feel like had that game, there's a lot of times in Toronto where I'm like, like they had their home opener 2 years ago, it was ironically against BC, to where it was a 7 o'clock kick on a Sunday. But I'm like, hey, if you do this game at 3 or 4 o'clock, especially when kids are still in school, you probably get an extra 2-3. I know I'm being a little overzealous when I say 2,000-3,000, just because obviously Toronto attendance is hard to come by sometimes. But you may get a few.
Sure, but
There's even a few extra 100 people who say, "Hey, oh, I don't know if I want to go to the game. It's a Sunday night. It's 7 o'clock. By the time we get
right.
home, kids in bed. I know school's almost done, but still, to where they have the perfect opportunity now, like the CNE game coming up next Saturday, which is a Saturday night at 7 o'clock. But then them having every other home game after that, except for the final one, which is on a Friday night, be either a 3 o'clock p.m. kick, or in the case of the quadruple header day, a 1 o'clock Eastern kick, which for me, I'll probably be getting home right as your game's starting. So I'm very much looking forward to that aspect of it.
Excellent.
Yeah, but no, so like I completely, like, I know TSN controls the schedule just from a broadcasting standpoint, it's why they want certain games on certain nights, but I feel like there has to be the aspect there of, and I'm very thankful Toronto doesn't have a single 10 o'clock game. They had one 9 o'clock game, and it was on a Thursday, and let's just say this Friday for Griff at work was not really that much fun.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
When you're up until about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning doing post game and then getting your recap piece in,
Of course.
because Griff was going away for the weekend, so he made sure to have it all done. You pay for it the next morning. There's a Bugs Bunny meme that I will tweet out from time to time of me sleeping. The most relevant to that was when the Jays were in that crazy game of the World Series that went to like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
But
Yep.
I wanted to go back to the East for a second, because when we say right now, like how we talk about Ottawa and all that stuff there, obviously I don't want to say the season's lost, but it's almost to the point now where it's like you pretty much have to play near perfect football, and that's something they haven't done, to where I feel like they're at a true crossroads where it's, you want to see what you have, but you also don't want to ruin it for the future. So I feel like they kind of need to decide, what's the identity of the team, but then also I've been saying this for a while. I don't know if Dinwiddie tries to take that shot, because Chad Kelly is a free agent after the season, and it doesn't seem like there's any other. I believe every other quarterback in the CFL is either signed or not going to want to go there. Like, a Bo Levi Mitchell's not going to want to go to Ottawa this career.
No.
Trevor Harris I didn't realize until Dunk said it on the show, but it was over a signing bonus to why he didn't sign there.
Yeah.
So, but the only thing when I bring that up is people say Kelly likes being close to Buffalo, but then I think if he's promised, hey, this is your job, he likes Ryan Dinwiddie, maybe we'll see where it goes. I think it's just I still do think though, no matter where if he leaves Toronto, yeah, this game's getting ugly. Why did I pick the BC Lions? Um,
I
yeah,
did too. It's
yeah.
all right.
Oh no, I was like, wait, was that a kick return? I'm like
That was a
talking to you,
kick
and
return. Yeah,
okay, I
that
was
was a
so
kick return.
confused. I thought like
Oh
I
yeah.
saw the Stampeders running down the field, and I'm like, oh crap. But
No, it was a kick return. Yeah, you're good.
okay, I feel slightly better now.
Oh, good, good. Okay.
But
I'm
with
glad one of us
Ottawa,
is paying attention.
yeah, because now with Ottawa, you have them in a position where it's you guys need to next year be because if they're not decently competitive next year, and if they're the ninth team in the league, it's just no matter who it's going to be not embarrassing, but you're going to feel like yeah, like how could you be the one? If it's them though, I don't know if it's going to be just people being like, of course, or if it's just people where it's like, yeah, I feel like it's more. They would be your overly intoxicated friend at a tailgate where it's just like, you are not getting into the game, sir.
That's right. Yeah,
Your friend who's had a few in the parking lots and falling asleep in the vehicle, and yeah,
yeah. I think that
we don't condone that. I'm just saying it sometimes
no. Of
stuff
course not.
happens.
No. I think I think next year is going to be interesting because of this whole, one team misses the playoffs, right? And no matter who that team is, they're the ones that get the t-shirt. I attended a whole CFL season and all I got was this t-shirt. But I do think, and I truly hope that it's not Ottawa, because we've lost Ottawa twice. And I don't want to lose them a third time. I want to make sure that they have that support. And they do have some huge fans. There's no doubt about it. But I want to make sure that there is that. You don't want any one team to be down for that long. Do you know what I mean? Like it's one thing to be down for a few years. I mean, Elks are just starting to come out of it on the other side, right? You've seen it in Toronto where they've had down years and then bounce back. They talk to any Rough Riders fan who's had a long drought or a Hamilton fan where they had great teams, but they just couldn't finish it. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
But there is this fluctuation with each of those teams, and Ottawa's on the down flux, but they're just staying like they need the curve to go up at some point.
They're a team that I feel like, because I'm going to pull up their schedule for everyone's, because I know everyone's been saying they've been dealt a nasty hand. Obviously, they played the Blue Bombers coming off a bye this week. That's the other point where I'm like, good luck with that.
Yeah,
but like if you look at it, they've played the Rough Riders twice. They've played you guys
watch
twice.
This. There you go. That's exciting.
Ooh,
okay.
Ooh,
maybe
I'm watching on the crow. Oh, I thought he was going to pick it off for a second. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. How do you? No. How do you? It's the
down
same guy who fumbled. Ryan's hot air blew him down at the 1 yard line.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But then, like, I look at their schedule now. It's like, let's go back to this. Like, hey, Bombers at Alouettes, Lions. So where it's like you have to go to Montreal, which is not a fun place to play. And then what's even tougher for them too is the fact you get the Cats twice. This is what's the CFL schedule so weird. It's like how Montreal and Toronto played each other at the beginning of the year, and then they play each other at the end of the year. That's why friends of our show, Cliff's, probably not going to be back on my program for another 2.5 months.
Right.
But then you have Ottawa and Hamilton who don't even play till October, which I find very weird. But then you have, they have to play Calgary twice. I also love how Ottawa too, like when Hamilton and Toronto both went to BC, the games were at 7:00 Eastern, which I was amazing with. I would love it.
Yeah.
Ottawa goes there. Hey guys, you have to play at 10:00 p.m. on a Friday, so good luck with that. But wow. I look at games like those Hamilton games, or even those like BC games, where it's like, if you can steal a couple, it kind of helps build their confidence for next year, to where you can then look at them where it's like, you know what, they're starting to put the pieces together. But I really think next year, though, for no matter what happens this year with Ottawa, they have to have a strong start to the season next year. I feel like but then I don't know if getting rid of guys now is just saying like we weren't going to re-sign you for 2027, so we're getting rid of you now. But at the same time too, I feel like you you got to live and die with who you have and what you believe. But then again, we're just a couple of podcaster analysis guys who what do we know about football operations, right?
Yeah, I think, and Dinwiddie's new to the GM position. Like, so he's going to do that the way he wants to do it. And that might be different than a lot of other GMs. We don't know. So the one thing that I will say, though, is I think it's a combination of we weren't going to bring you back in that year, but also I'm trying to send a message to this locker room that you guys got to step up, or what is it that he said last year when they were losing games, wasn't it? Like, some guys aren't going to have a job or something, like there was something like that in a post-game interview. And it's like, okay. And it was always like, oh, he's not the GM, right? Well, now he can actually do it. So maybe that's part of what he's doing.
Speaking of Ottawa and injuries, so I just happened to open up, just as I do sometimes, Twitter, because never know, news might break, something might happen.
Sure.
And I have a very interesting tidbit from our very own John Hodge.
Oh.
So their first overall pick, I forget his first name, but Vaccaro.
Yes.
His grandmother, for those of you who are Italian, his nonna, is hosting the entire Ottawa Redblacks offensive line and quarterbacks for dinner tonight. And on the menu is stuff like lasagna, cutlets, salads, and a whole bunch more.
Ooh.
To which basically Cliff decided to tweet out, has the itis ever shown up as an injury report before? Could we see some game time decisions as a result of being rolled out of someone's house, or the house of someone's nonna? Asking for a friend. So if Jake Mayer looks sluggish tomorrow night, folks, he just had to have Sunday dinner the night before a football game.
That's right.
Why am I blanking on his name?
Gino Vaccaro? Isn't that what it is?
You know what? I'm going to look this up because we're CFL podcasters. We should
know. But I mean, I know the last name Vaccaro, but I don't remember what his first name is. Yeah.
It's also on John just tweeting out Vaccaro. So if
of course,
takes the blame, we'll just pass it. If anyone's like, how could you get that name wrong? Hey, I don't know. I was just reading John's tweet, so sue me. Giordano Vaccaro, that's it.
Giordano, there we go. Yeah.
Think of the deep dish pizza from Chicago. That's the best way to say it.
That's the best, yeah.
But that is just so funny though, where it's like, yeah, we're having dinner. So if Jake Mayer's on the sidelines burping and just like passed out during the game, he's not getting sacked a bunch by Willie Jefferson or Evan Holm. No, it's he had a little bit too much cutlets and lasagna last night.
So here's something actually just along kind of the same lines. The Elks have a guy that is adding to their roster this week, and his first name is Carmine.
Oh.
Hey, come on now. I can't wait to see that guy on the field. Let's go.
Yes. Basically now, so if folks want to know why the tweet from this show is basically, I was going to call this originally bending over the knee because it's something you had said, but I'm sorry, I got to call this episode cutlets and lasagna just for the fun of it.
That's totally fair. I can, yeah.
And the tweet's just going to be like, Free Pelicious and I discuss, is it best to go to Nona's house today before a football game? Find out on YWC Football Talks 446th episode. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that.
Wonderful. I love it. We actually got title of the podcast right in the middle there.
So it's time we bring up the Jen's Boutique ticker. And with all that, there's no BC and Calgary on here because obviously the game's ongoing as we speak. There's no point in saying, hey, I think the Calgary Stampeders are going to be leading 9-7 halfway through the second quarter. And everyone's be like, you're a wizard. And I'll be like, no, we were recording while the show was going on.
Yeah, exactly. I will say, though, that I did pick BC.
I did too. I picked BC as well. Nathan, I said this on your show and I'll echo it here. Nathan Rourke has had a really good track record at McMahon. I don't know what it is. It's just something about McMahon. He's played very well there. Like, he's been an underdog before and he's gone in and played well.
Something about Alberta teams in general. He plays better. I don't get it.
All the disdain in your voice, Andrew.
I know, right? Yeah. Jerk. No.
We're having a great time here. Almost at the end of the week, but I'm going to say this with the game because obviously you and I both are going to go Winnipeg here. There's part of me that's starting to think, or you're Ottawa.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm Winnipeg, but there's a small part of me that would not be shocked because I'll say this: if Winnipeg loses this game, I think that might open a can of worms that I don't think I think the can of worms people have been waiting to see for the Blue Bombers for a while, where it's like in the sense of just not even the mighty dynasty that they. I don't even know if I want to call them a dynasty just
You
because of the
can't.
three losses. My rule for dynasty too. I have a rule of three with that. I think you have to win three championships to be considered a dynasty.
In a row.
Not in a
In
row,
my
but even
opinion.
like I would say three in like a 5 to 6 year period. Where it's like
Oh, I don't know. I look at like, would you call the 90s Buffalo Bills a dynasty?
no,
Right, because they never won. And I don't know. Everybody said, like, were they a great team? 100%. Like, they were a great team. Are they a dynasty? No, they couldn't finish.
yeah,
And that's the thing.
like some more recent examples, like the 2010 Chicago Blackhawks, I consider a dynasty. I
I can see
consider
that. Okay.
the Golden State Warriors of the mid 2010s. The Patriots, obviously, in the 2000s and the 2010s. Kansas City
Right.
recently, like teams like that, Elk, where you're winning like so often, or you're so much in. Like it's about winning, not just like obviously you have to finish, but if you finish, it means you've won.
That's right.
Um, but with Winnipeg
Yeah,
though, and just because if you look at I don't know who they play in. I know they play you guys next. I don't know who they play in 2 weeks' time. I'm gonna check that right now. They play Oof Manon. So, do you want to know what the Winnipeg Blue Bomber schedule is after this game?
I do.
They play you,
Yeah.
the Alouettes, and then the Rough Riders twice, and then they have a bye week, and then they have the Argonauts. So they still have to play you twice. They still have to play this Riders twice, and they still
Right.
have to play Montreal twice.
Correct.
So I really think that this is a game that if Ottawa were to steal, and I'm saying steal because obviously they're
Oh, absolutely. It would
-7
be a
on the
steal.
point spread,
Yeah.
and Ottawa covers a win. But if Ottawa wins this game outright, I really think things could start to spiral there in Manitoba. Because I've been saying this where I was like always not sure about Winnipeg, and they always prove me wrong. Like I always
Oh,
whenever
yeah.
like the team that like they not that I always doubt them, but like when you doubt them, they're like, hey Griff,
Yeah.
watch me now.
Yeah.
But with the game of this nature
How do
though,
you
I
like them
really
apples? One of
yeah
those? Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah it's like
Yeah.
I got the win. It's like I got a
Yeah.
number.
The convert.
I got the win. How you like them apples?
That's right. Yeah.
But I just think though, if like I said, Winnipeg needs this game for the fact of just look, they're coming off the bye week. They played putrid against the Lions 2 weeks ago in Caden Salter. To where if they lose this game, I'm not saying it's rock bottom, but the doors to rock bottom they get open. I think honest a mix of that. And I don't even want to say rock bottom. You basically lift the lid on the panic button if you lose this game. Because that's
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
because it's kind of that thing where it's like Winnipeg, hey, they should have lost them once already. If they had lost them already and then they lose them again and they were to get swept by them, or they just look bad against them both times, even with Zach returning,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all I have to say. So like I said, I think there's a chance that I think honestly this is a coin flip though, but I picked Winnipeg just for the fact of I can't buy into Ottawa right now, but then also too with Winnipeg. The more I think about it, they need this game badly just to keep up with the crossover and potentially third place in the West.
They do. I just it's funny because I like you said, it is very important to them. I don't know that I would go so far as to say rock bottom, just because yes, they would lose to a Red Blacks team that hasn't won yet, but I don't know if that means like the bottom is fallen out. I do think that it is a bit of a smoke signal to say there might be some people throwing up the little flags like Wile E. Coyote that say help on it, like might be a
That's
bit
what
of
I meant by
that.
rock. It's not saying like
Yeah.
it's there, but it's almost like with Wile E. Coyote, the one where it's like the trampoline just kind of like goes beep 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 and pushes him off the bolt like off the cliff. It's
Yes.
kind of like the trampoline starting to hit the head of the bomber season, or in the retrospect of an airplane, it's like I don't want to say the engine caught on fire, but it's kind of like a wing is starting to, it's like, hey, that wing back there, if I held it by duct tape, might be a little bit loose. That wasn't a good idea. The duct tape's starting to rip off the wing a bit. So
That's fair.
that's what I
Yeah.
meant by it. It's not saying, hey, it is rock bottom, but it's just that the path to it becomes visible to the point where it's very easy to get there with the, like I said, with the schedule coming up, the fact they play
Oh,
Edmonton twice,
100%.
the fact they play you guys twice, the fact that they play they have to play Montreal, the fact they have the Banjo
Banjo
Bowl,
Bowl and
which I learned the name for that,
yeah,
and I find it hilarious
yeah. Yeah.
because
Oh, you didn't know what that was from?
oh, now I know it's because one fan base calls the other a bunch of banjo playing inbred hicks, but
Exactly. Yes. So,
yeah,
thank you, Troy Westwood. Yeah, that
yes.
was
So that's what I meant by it. I don't mean that it is rock bottom, but it's just the doors to rock bottom can get ugly very quickly.
that's fair. Yes.
Because
Yes.
if you win this game, it's hey, we won, we can puff our chest out, we feel good going up. Because that game next Friday night, that's in Edmonton, correct?
Correct.
So that's
Yes,
what
it
I'm saying.
is.
Because if you lose this game at home, to then have to go to Commonwealth,
Hmm.
to then
I,
having to play the Alouettes, to then having to go to Mosaic,
I like all these words.
to
I'm
then having the defending champs who won the Grey Cup in your building come back for the first time since the scene of the
yeah,
crime took place.
exactly.
Just recipe for disaster for them. So
It's a,
that's why
it's
I say
a
that.
yeah, it's a tough one. That is for sure. So, not that I'm upset about it.
Neither am
Go
I.
on. Yeah, no.
But and now with Saturday afternoon with the two of our game for folks out
Mhm.
there who if you are listening to this and you live in the greater Edmonton area, they are having a sugary cereal tailgate, I believe, in stalls 193 and 194 in the parking lot.
Wow. Good to
I
remember.
saw the ad. I
Yes,
saw the
yes.
ad.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. So if you find those stall numbers, you'll see Andrew there. Maybe he's in his pajamas. Maybe he's got a little candle and his little cap on.
I don't no, no, I'll be ready. I'll be game time ready. I'll
He'll be game
probably
time
be wearing something like this. Yes.
with a cinnamon toast crunch cereal and or beverage in his hand.
Probably the beer. Yes, I'll have the cinnamon toast crunch beer, and then we will have frosted flakes and corn pops and with Fruit Loops. There you go. And we're gonna have them all in individual cups so everybody can have their own. And we'll have different types of milk so you can have whatever milk you want. And yeah, have some sugar cereal. And then I'm hoping to bring the TV and have some Saturday morning cartoons running at the same time, just for fun.
Oh, we gotta love it. That's it's the beauty that makes up a CFL tailgate. But I think we've talked about this game enough, and I think we know where both sides are going to where we picked. Obviously, you thinking the Elks bounce back, me going with the
Mhm.
Argos, just because I feel like there was some talk last week in the room. I'm not going to say names, but there was some talk of people being like, "Wait till next week, wait till next week," because
Right.
it's a prove it spot for both teams. But I honestly wouldn't be shocked either way if Toronto won this game or if Edmonton won this game.
Mhm.
But the more I think about it, I think the formulas for both teams where you can feel good is Edmonton for a win, but for Toronto for it to be a close, not mistake free, but close to a mistake free game. Just because obviously with Kelly, he hasn't had many mistake free games this year.
Right. Yeah. And the thing is if Edmonton is allowed to get some interceptions like Calgary was last week, they're not as likely to uh, blow up the rest of their offense is likely to make them pay. So we shall see if that plays out. But I know that Edmonton is, the news coming out today that Tamari Fox has hit the 6-game injured list. Kenny Logan somehow is only on the 1-week injured list, which is I'm hoping that's great news. So they're going to be missing some guys too, and but they're going to have to step up and find a way to make Chad Kelly uncomfortable, and that's the way that I think that's one of the keys for them to win this game.
Well, on the note of the because I have it right here from as you guys can see that says Argonauts and Media.
Yes.
John Haggerty out, Ethan John out, Mackay Polk out, Robert Priester and Kendall Randolph out, but they're obviously done for the season. Priester tore his Achilles week 3.
Yeah.
Alex Tubener out. Questionables as Brian Harlamana and who I still think is the motor that makes an Argonaut offensive line run. Ryan Hunter is questionable with a knee injury, limited in practice all week. He
Ooh.
didn't participate yesterday. So the Argonauts are coming into this game banged up. It's like I said last week. That's why I feel like they may have to rely on the run, but also to whoever steps in an offensive line, if Ryan Hunter isn't a full go, will need to step up. I've said this with Toronto right now that this next 5-game stretch is crucial for them because if you look at it, they obviously got the win against Calgary. Now they play you guys. They have to go to Sask again, which feels weird to say, but it's just that's the quirks of the World Cup. And then they get Hamilton twice, who's already beaten them once this year with Trey Ford. So I think they need to go now, especially with the win. I always said if they go 2-3 and they're at 5-7 after Labor Day, it's fine. I
Right.
think they need to be at least 8. I think because I think you have to have a minimum of 8 wins to get into the playoffs, especially from the East division standpoint. The
Okay, fair
West,
enough.
who knows? But I feel like anyone not named Montreal has to win 8 games.
Yeah. True. Yes. Yeah.
Well, they're already there.
So basically, you're saying that Montreal's in.
Over. Let's do a quick game with that. Over or under Montreal clinches the East by September 15th.
I'm gonna go under. I think they'll be before then.
I want to toot my horn for Montreal before we get into the last game because in we did for 3 Down Nation, but I also believe the 2 MOP picks. Everyone was on Nathan Rourke.
Yep, 100%.
I was on someone else.
You were on Davis Alexander?
Yep, because I always said if he's the motor that's making that Alouette engine run, he's going to win the award, and that's what he's done so far this year.
He has. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just wondering if, wow, they're just trading touchdowns in this game. That's amazing. That's outstanding.
Welcome to CFL where defense is optional.
Correct. I do think that now I lost my train of thought because of that. I was so shocked that
Keon Hatcher distracting Keon Hatcher Sr. distracting Mr. Freepalicious.
Right. That's right. Yeah. Oh, that's a great catch though. Nice throw. We'll take it. Go BC. It's no, I think that Davis has been such a big part of that team. I think there might even be a bigger argument though to have Tyson Philpott as the MOP because that guy is making plays, and that touchdown that he got against us between 2 defenders last week was unbelievable. Like it was just so good. So I don't know. He's lighting it up as well.
That's an awful 2-point convert attempt.
It sure was.
But Ben LaBrosse, man, what a player. So my logic with that always is who's making the wide receiver look good, and it's the quarterback. And the people who vote on the awards will usually lean towards the quarterback play.
It's fair.
It's kind of like the year when Eric Carlson won the Norris in the NHL, where he wasn't the best defensive defenseman. That was Adam Fox, but everyone saw the 100-point total season for a defenseman and kind of is like the, ooh, shiny keys, look at the shiny keys. And it's kind of like Tyson Philpott.
Except when it was Evan Bouchard last year. Then over 100 points. No, he's not the best defenseman.
Yeah,
pardon?
Everyone just, it's kind of those like it's just sometimes numbers kind of get in the way of things. I do think Tyson Philpott is a shoe-in for MOC. It's just I think if Davis Alexander continues on the trajectory he is, I feel like he will be MOP. But
yeah, that's fair.
The one that I'm always wondering is Coach of the Year because for the most part, people look at it as which coach has done the best job. I always like to look at it as which coach is the one that surprised the most. And I still think that's your guy and Mark Killam. I really do. Just because, think about it. You could, Jason Moss can win. Okay, great. He kind of did what he wanted to. If you were to look at Coach of the Year right now, honestly, I think the 2 top candidates would probably be Mark Killam and I think there's a case for Mike Miller. I don't know if he's going to win the award. I think it would have to take a lot, but I think it's guys like that where they've come in and kind of turned the programs around from what they were. So obviously Edmonton, like you said, there was 5 to 6 years of obscurity, and for Toronto last year, everything just went off the rails to where Mike Miller's kind of come in and established his cultural footprint immediately. So I think those guys will have their names in the conversation, but I do think right now Mark Killam gets the edge.
Well, I do hope so. I think he's done amazing things with this team, and I think I still had Jason Moss in there just because the ability to keep it together, like, for them to keep running the way they are. Well, there's a lot of CFL teams that can say this though, is if what happens in, the week before Labor Day when I'm not trying to wish this on him, but what happens when Davis Alexander pulls that hamstring again? Then what happens to Montreal? And that will show if it's Moss or not.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Yeah.
It's kind of like 2 years ago with with MOP. I don't, everyone was on Bo Levi Mitchell, and I was always
Mm,
saying Brady Oliveira because I was just like, one got his team to the playoffs and one didn't. And I think if
mhm.
that's the thing too. If Davis Alexander were to get hurt, and if Dustin Crum were to be quarterback and Tyson Philpott's still lighting it up, then yeah, the MOP's case for him shoots up significantly because it kind of
Correct.
shows he can get done with anyone. I just think with awards like MVP and it, because even in the NFL we see it all the time where a guy can be having a crazy season, but then it's always, hey, this guy could win MVP. This guy could win Offensive Player of the Year. But everyone looks at it and just simply goes, but who's the one getting them the ball? So
Right.
that's where my logic from that kind of comes into play.
I can see that. And I just the argument that I'll put, and obviously I'd have to see everything together. But I think that some of the catches that Philpott has made, and I know the ball needs to be thrown there, but he's also had to adjust to get it and fight off guys to get it. So I'm curious just to see. I think you're right. I'm not gonna deny. I do think that it goes to the quarterback, but I do think that there's going to be some consideration there just based on how productive he has been and not getting the ball in his hand every play, right? So I think that there's got to be a bit of a, I mean, early on we would have said, "Holy man, it's got to be Justin Rankin," but in the last few games, they just haven't used him to let him, you know, add to those types of things to carry the team.
If he carries the team and they end up with the 1 seed in the West, there is a very strong case to be made. If he returns to form and if he were to, be winning games, putting the team on his back, kind of like what Brady Oliveira did in 2024,
Sure.
then his name is 100% belonging in the conversation. I still think it is. I think it's just the whole, like I said, ebbs and flows of a football season to where, hey, guys are going to have a couple bad weeks. It's just about how does Justin Rankin bounce back from all that.
Correct. Yes, I agree.
And then we finish off with Hamilton and Saskatchewan. Look, Hamilton's looked good. Sask has just they've looked awesome. That's just because
Yep.
Sask is the kind of team where sometimes they play down to the levels of their competition, but sometimes too they'll also just kind of say, "You're gonna here's the belt. It's coming. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck, but here it is." And I think this is just another example of that because I feel like the only way that Sask loses this game is if Trevor Harris is forced into uncomfortable situations or has a turnover problem, kind of like what he did against the Argonauts about 6 weeks ago. God, which feels so weird to think that game was almost 2 months ago.
Wow. Yeah. And the thing is that I just don't know. Yeah. I yeah. I think Saskatchewan wins this in a walk, in my
I
opinion.
do
But
too. I'm just thinking of a way of
but
like how could Hamilton wins because of blank, you know?
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, Frost having a game under his belt helps. But I yeah, I don't think they're ready to beat the Grey Cup champs right now. So yeah, we'll see. Now, you know what? If Bo's in there, maybe I have a different opinion, but I do think that I think if Bo is in there, I think it's a massively different look to where this season has gone for Hamilton.
Man, this game is just electric right now.
It really is. That is a CFL game. It is back and forth. It's amazing.
Yes, as I just saw Miss Dort on the sidelines holding her umbrella. So I decided to pull up the standings right now,
Okay.
and two things caught my eye here. One is the fact that the Alouettes have a plus 70 point differential over the Toronto Argonauts. One's at plus 74 and one's at plus 4.
Oh,
The other one, the Calgary Stampeders are plus 55, while the Blue Bombers are a minus 39.
yeah. Wow. I
One
I can't say that surprises me though, because Calgary's offense, it's either really on and flying, or they're not putting points up, but their defense is been shutting people down to a lot of kicks, right? So not so much this game, but still, I just think that there's yeah, there's some different things that could happen. As far as that's a crazy difference though. Winnipeg is minus 39. Ooh. I
So
didn't expect that. Okay.
I'm gonna go through every team. So you guys are plus 11.
Okay.
Sask is plus 59.
Okay.
The Stampeders, like I said, are plus 55, which
Hmm.
is weird. The Stampeders are second best in the West for point differential.
Hmm.
Um, the Lions are minus 11.
Okay.
The Ticats are minus 50,
Okay.
and the Ottawa Redblacks are a whopping minus 103. Every team in the CFL has over 200 points for, except for Hamilton, Ottawa, who's at 186. Meanwhile, do you want to know the other goofy thing too with the whole points thing? So the BC Lions have only scored 214 points this year. The
Yeah.
Calgary Stampeders have scored 352. The Calgary Stampeders have scored the most points in the CFL this season, and they are 4-5.
Right. Because they went up against Montreal twice, and both of them were majorly high scoring games that Montreal won. Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how much closer it can be. Right. So, yeah, that's, and like I said, they do have a good offense. Not last week,
Nope.
but other weeks, yes.
That's
Okay.
exactly it.
I'm still going with Sask over Hamilton.
I'm still going with Sask too. I was just always like, you know how like you're going Ottawa, I'm going Winnipeg. I'm saying how could Ottawa like that? Obviously, it's always you want to find more than just saying hey who we think we win. It's hey who's the team that we didn't pick to win? How could they win? It was more of like the Hamilton defense is going to have a great game against Trevor Harris against
Yes.
sort of homecoming for the Keon Schaefer Baker, who's a very another name. I feel like he's having a fantastic year that because of the play of Tyson Philpott, because of the play of so many other people, his name's not getting talked about in that same volume, but it definitely should be.
And is he out still this week? Because I thought he was out last week with an injury.
I know he's been out, but I just know like when he's been playing, he's been on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what I meant in
Yes.
that sense, where it's just when he's playing, it's like, hey, he's been awesome.
Yes. Yep. That I agree with. Yeah. Yeah. He's been playing very well. So, as has Keyshawn Baker, Johnson.
I was about to say it's like so they have Keyshawn Baker and they have Kean Schaefer.
Kean, yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Keeping up with the Schaefer Bakers. That would be a great fantasy football name for next year's CFL's
right?
fantasy.
That's right. Okay, good to know.
Mine was going to be Oliveira Garden, but I ended up trading Brady I traded him. So Hodge and I traded Oliveira for Coxie, and ever since I did that trade, my record has shot up dramatically. I've won 4 straight weeks in that league now.
Oh, well.
So one thing to point about, because unlike his co-hosts, you and I care about our fantasy football teams.
We do.
We do. Not a slight on those guys. It's just I know John's a part of the league, and the other guys are just like we don't care.
Like whatever. Yeah. That's fine. But that's okay. I mean I'm yeah, I think I'm leading that league. I am. I'm 5-4-1.
And I think I'm 5-5. I think I'm 5-5.
I'll just look. Well, we can't have different because we both played the same. You are you're 5. Oh yeah, you're 5-5, and I'm 5-4-1. Yes, because Hodge and no, I tied with Klein. We had a tie, which was weird. I'm like, how does that work? But then again, so did Ryan and Hodge. They had a tie.
There's a way to tie. There's a way to tie. Luckily for me, I played one of my weeks. I played Ryan is when Calgary was on their bye week, so I won.
That's a good way to win against Ryan. Yeah.
Pass with flying colors because the Stamps were on a bye.
Perfect. Well done.
There is one other great thing we can all agree upon, though, while we're here.
Yes.
That this was another great podcast episode with the one and only Andrew Hoskins.
Yes, it was a ton of fun. I love that we're like commenting on the game at the same time. We're both watching the game while we're chatting. Yes, tons of fun, and yeah, love it. It was it's always fun, and you know what, you get to be friends up until like we off maybe for 3 hours on Saturday, and then we're fine again. It's great.
Between the hours of 3 and 6 p.m. Eastern on Saturday,
Correct.
Andrew and I are not friends, but every other basically there's a 6-hour window out of the entire 2026 year, unless the two teams link up November 15th, that will be friends. Besides those, there's like 6 hours out of the entire year where we're just the bitterest of enemies, if you can believe it or
That's,
not.
yeah,
These two lovable faces
we're
are going to
gonna,
hate each other on
we're gonna be
Saturday, and
just
then
like texting each other, like, "Did you see that?" Ugh, that's yeah, whatever. Yeah,
egregious
it's
play. No, that was a great play. It's like that was
that's
bullshit.
a garbage call. That's a garbage call. Yeah, that's I'm getting used to typing that. I should have that like just it should just be in my autocorrect night by now. I'm like, that's and it should just fill it in. That's a garbage call. That's what I need. Yeah.
Oh, how'd you know? Well, I watch a lot of CFL football. That's how I know.
That's how I know. Yeah.
Where the refereeing can be a roller coaster ride of emotions.
It totally is. Yeah.
But anyway, guys, 446 of these in the bag. We're gonna be hitting 450 soon because we have CFL football in full gear. NFL is right around the corner. College is right around the corner. So there's all the football love to go around as I grab my jelly cat to say, if you can't get enough football, I don't know what's wrong with you. For Andrew the Freep Hoskins, I'm Griff Bordegon. Have a great week. Enjoy this week of CFL football and keep watching football no matter where it is in this world. Have a great night, everyone.